Hello, welcome to this video. My name is David Dawn and you're watching David's Videos. In this video tutorial, we're going to be creating this one registration form super quick using HTML and CSS. So essentially, by the end of this one video, you are going to know how to create this from start to finish. We will be starting with a completely blank slate. There won't be anything there. And by the end of it, we will create all of the items. So you'll have your submit button, all of the different fields that you want to have. When you hover over the fields, it changes the color a little bit. The button as well has a little bit of a hover effect, and then the pointer comes up. And this is all done with Flexbox and so on. So it's super nice and easy, and it's on a way for you to be coding responsive websites. Before we move over to the code, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and write any feedback in the comments down below during the video. If you do have any questions, did I go too fast? Did I go too slow? Did I not explain something? Please write it in. This is the first of maybe multiple videos. I don't know, but please, I need your feedback in this one video to let me know which things you didn't understand or which things I should do to enhance this one playlist. Because essentially this is the beginning of a playlist. Like, you guys need to, or guys and girls need to tell me what it is that you want to know, and I will create the content for you. Okay, otherwise this video is simply for you a registration form that you can use to learn how to create a form in HTML and CSS for creating a website. So long story short, this video is about how to create a form for your website using HTML and CSS. Let's get started. Okay, so within inside of the index.html, I've added, for just speeding it up, a layout.css and a form.js. We're not going to be using this form.js inside of this tutorial, but we are going to be using the layout.css, and it's just there in our folder. So let's split these screens as per normal, and we can continue. I've just added a title of registration form. What we'll do is we'll create a box in the middle, as per shown previously, with a title and then the actual form contents with a description above it, underneath, and then a submit button. So let's go ahead and create, first of all, our wrapper, which is just going to wrap the actual content of everything that we want. And yes, and then we want in here also a form title, and we'll say registration form. Could use a h1, but I just want to use a div just because. And next we want to say then this is going to be form body. This is where all of the form content is going to be, and then before that, this is a description about the form that the user should be filling out in order for them to register with the company or website that they are wanting to be a part of, and so on. There we go. So it's done. We've got now our title, underneath a little bit of description, then our form body. Inside of this, we want to have a form tag. There's a whole bunch of other things that we need to add onto that form tag, but that would be part of the actual form submission side of it. So for the time being, we're just going to concentrate on the elements within inside of it. So we're going to use a UL, an unordered list, and then the li elements inside of it in order to hold the data which we want. Now what we do want is we want a label, okay, and in this sense we're going to have them name, and then inside of this we want to then have a input, and this is type text, and we're going to give it an ID, and we're going to call it a name, and we're going to also give it a name, and this is going to be called name. And in this situation, we want to give it a placeholder, and we'll say, please enter your name here. And let's move this out the way slightly. And next, let's create our surname here, and we'll just change these to surname and surname. And I'll explain the ID and name very, very shortly. And we've got that done. This is text as well. And then we'll copy the next one, and we want to say email, and we'll say email here. Again, please enter your email address, and we can say type is equal to email here. And okay, these are just the fields that we're going to have. We'll leave that for now, and the button will do once we've configured all of our forms, so our elements here. So let's just refresh it. And as we can see, we've got registration form. This is our description. And then we've got the items that we want to display. Super, super awesome. So let's start configuring our wrapper. But before we do that, we want to knock out some padding and margin that's going to annoy us dramatically. So we'll just say margin 0 pixels, padding 0 pixels, and we'll say font family is going to be, yeah, I'll do fine, yeah. Okay, and now body, what we want to say is we want to use Flexbox. So we're going to say display is equal to flex, and then flex direction in this situation is going to be column because we want it going down. But we only have one in here, so essentially we want it to be centered. So it makes sense actually for it to be a row, and then justify content. So if it is a row, it means left to right. We want it to be a center. And the line items are going to be stretch. And let's just make our wrapper here. So we've got then background color can be as ever tomato, obviously. What else would we want to expect to have? And let's come and have a look at this again. So now we have our box here. So let's just say flex 1. Whoops, and come back. And that just flexes it all the way because it's a row. But we want to actually have, like, say, a width rather than a flex here. So let's just say that we want to have a width of, I don't know, 65%. There we go, that's perfect. And we'll give our wrapper a margin top of 80 pixels. Sounds pretty good. That's happy days. Okay, so now we have our wrapper. Let's give it then the relevant border that it needs. And let's just use A1, A1, A1. And border radius can be 20 pixels. Let's knock out this background because we don't need it anymore. And come back here. Happy days. The A1, A1 can be, let's say, 30% alpha. That's good. All right, next let's create the title. And form title is going to be, say, height 80 pixels. And color is going to be, I say, 333. Font size in this situation, say 2 ems. Can be that we change it in a second. Have a look. Yeah, no, it looks all right though. But we want our form title to display flex, and flex direction is going to be column. Justify content is going to be center, and align items is going to be flex start, and text indent is going to be 20 pixels. Let's have a look at that. Good. Next, we want form title is border bottom is going to equal to 1 pixel, and we'll put this here in there. Have a look at that. Happy days. Let's make the background of this then be 333, and color, sorry, we want it to be white without the hash. Happy days. And border radius is then 20 pixels, 20 pixels. Is that right? It is right. There we go. Good stuff. But the 333, I don't like that. That's going to be, we'll say 555. That looks a lot better. So 555. All right. So that's our title done. Now let's think about the text. So we'll say, actually, let's give form description here and form description here, and we'll make it font size is like 1.2 ems, color is equal to 333, and margin can be like 30 pixels. Should be enough. Form description. Why is that not? Did I type that wrong or something? Or did I just get? Oh, let's have a look. I've done something wrong here. That didn't save. Ah, because I didn't save it. There we go. That's way too big. I thought I'd saved it, but I hadn't. 1.2. Yeah, that looks good enough. Okay, so next let's think about getting this UL. So the form body and let's say the UL now. And we want to say list style type is none. First of all, to get rid of the dots that are here on the side. So let's just show you that they're gone now. Okay, now we want to have it, the padding as well, the margin as well is going to be 30 pixels, which is good. So let's get rid of that. And if we have a look at the UL now, you can see where it is. And the P is there. Okay, so I believe, because the form body itself, we want to say display flex once again, and flex direction in this situation is going to be column, and justify content is going to be flex start, and at line items we'll say center. That's fine, but width is equal to 100%. We need the form body form, then width is equal to 100%. And actually, let's say stretch, then we don't need this, and we can just use margin instead. So that's fine. Sorry, that was what we actually needed. But we'll say this to the form, and we can get rid of that. That fixes this. Happy days. Okay, now we have the margin on this, on that, and then on the P correctly. But that means on the P we don't need the margin. We just want the margin on the left and right. So we've got, sorry, top, right, bottom can say that and do that. That means that this moves up a little bit, which is perfect. Okay, so now we have our body here, and we have the form also inside of it. Our UL, we now want to know that the LIs, the UL doesn't have to do anything more than that. The LIs want to be going vertically, so we don't want them to have this the label and then the input field to the right hand side. Want it to be label and then the input field underneath it. But we can fix this. We can say that this is the display flex. Flex direction is then column once again. Justify content is going to be flex start, and the line items is going to be flex start once again. Doesn't change anything because the LIs were like that anyway. So let's now come and say that the LIs should be a margin bottom, we'll say, of 30. This will push them down like this. Perfect. Next, we need to tell the label that it should be display block. So it pushes the input field onto the next line. We don't want it the way it is right now. That pushes it onto the next line, which is happy days. And we can now say that the size of the text can be a little bit bigger, and we'll make it color 333 as well. Actually, make it 555. Yeah, and actually, I don't like the size of it. Let's make it smaller. Actually, 1 inch probably be fine. Yes, that'd be fine. Okay, now it's time for the input field. So let's get rid of this and say input field and height 60 sounds about right. And border is equal to 1 solid A1, A1, A1. And let's have a look at this. That's way too big. We'll say 40. That's better. Right now we want to have a look at the UL, see whether it goes all the way across, which it does. So we want to know that its content, its column, justify content flex start. The line items will say stretch as well. So that li does, but the li itself wants to say display flex direction is column once again, justify content flex starts, and line items is stretch. So this will do the same thing. There we go. Our boxes are done nicely. Yeah. Okay. So and we want to have to say that the input fields is text indent. We'll say 20 pixels just to push the placeholders in, which is too much. Let's just say 10. That'll be fine. Okay, this is now gone. So we've got all of our items, but let's make it so when we do hover our mouse over the input fields that the border changes color. So let's come to this here, and we'll say to our input hover, and the height we don't need to worry about. We just need to get rid of this, and we'll say that it's going to be we want it to be a bit darker. So rather than saying A, we'll say 515151, and now when you hover over it, it gets a bit yeah. Now you can kind of see what's going on here. So we're happy with what we've got now, and this should only add an email address as well, essentially. Okay, so now we have our form. Now it's time to add our button. We are going to add inside of our li, and then we're not going to use a button. We're going to use our class and say form button, and we're just going to say submit in here, and form button, and this because we've already said here that the flex direction. So we'll say here that these are class inputs, form input here, and let's put these in there and in there, which means that we'll only do this when form input is in place. Otherwise, the button will still be there, because what we want to have is with our button, we want to say form button, form button li. Let's call it that. Form button li. We can still do this. Display flex, but we want justify contents is going to be align items is going to be flex ends, and we want this actually to be row. So we want justify content to be flex ends, and this can be center. So we want our button to sit on the right hand side as it is right now. Okay, so our button is going to be background of yeah, that's the blue that we'll have, and then we want to say oh, form button, yes, it's fine. And we'll put the text in a span. Is what it means is now we can say form button span, and the color is going to be white. Font size is going to be 1.4 ems. Font weight, I don't know, say 600. Letter spacing, like 2 pixels, and so on. Because in the button we can say display flex direction column, justify content center, and align items center as well, which will put this in the middle. And we can say with this, then padding top 10 and left, right, and left and right is 30. Let's reset this, and that's a bit too, the font weight is too much, so we said 300. And also the text, in my opinion, is too big, so let's say 1.2. Yep, and let's say border radius is then say 10 pixels. Happy days. The button wants to have some form of hover, so we'll say cursor pointer, and also when the button does hover, then we'll give it a bit of a different background. We can give it then a RGB, red, we want 7, and then 103, and then 230, and then is it like this? That's too much. Is it? I think it is a decimal that we have to give it. Yes, it is. Okay, so let's say like 0.7. There we go. That's perfect. I like it. So we've got the effect that we want, and we've got the button that we want. The form button, li, we'll say this has a margin bottom of 10, which looks right because the UL already has, the form already has a margin on the bottom, so we can actually knock that margin bottom off totally, and then we are happy days. Yeah, so this is essentially that. I don't like the size of the. Let's just make it 1 ems. That looks nicer. All right, so this is essentially a registration form. This is how it's done. And let's make this title a little bit smaller as well, because this doesn't look as nice as what I want it to look. Let's say 1.7 ems. That looks better. And we'll bring the height down, say 70. This looks better. And this text description, bring down to that as well, or 1.1. That's better. And we'll make the input just that touch bigger. We'll make it 50, 45 actually. Yeah, that's better. And also the placeholder, this will be fine. But we can make the border radius is like 3 pixels on this, just to curve the, let's say 5. Curve the sides. Okay, so now you've got the sides have been curved a little bit better. Okay, so I hope that you found this video informative and so on. Yeah, it was only supposed to be a short video, and I've got it to less than half an hour, which was all right. It's a quick and simple way of doing this. There is a whole bunch more things that you could do to advance it, to make it more advanced. Maybe I create a second video to enhance it in some way, or I create some other types of videos doing different types of forms to show you other examples and so on. Yeah, so don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and write any feedback that you have in the comments down below. And if you did subscribe, then please write it down in the comments as well below to let me know that you did subscribe, so I can say thank you to you, because that's really what I want to do. Also, don't forget to tap the notification bell and to get all notifications, so you are notified when I release any new videos that may be relevant to you, that you want to learn about. Yeah, if you do want to become a member of my channel, then you can come and tap on the join button on my channel, and become a coffee shop buddy. It's 99 cents in euros per month for as long as you want to do it. And from there, you can get some more perks and so on. If not, then just like and subscribe, comment, share, do all the normal things that you can do. And see you in the next video. There'll be a video on the screen right now of what YouTube or I think is best for you. So thanks very much for watching. My name's David Thorne. You've been watching David's Videos.